what happened.
Okay, we are live now. So welcome. Welcome, Mark Burnett. My dear friend Mark Burnett, we are live, and I need to tell you that the art of balancing flexibility and structure in project management will be something dope. I think that instead of me talking and saying crazy stuff, actually, I will let you introduce yourself, and I will make sure that everyone here can hear you, ask you any type of question, and ask our audience or participants to use the Q&A to ask any type of question. If you cannot see or hear, please let us know also in the chat, in the public chat. And what I will also tell my attendees is to use either Brave, Opera, Edge, or Chrome. The last update for sure. Make sure that you are using the last update of your browser. So let's go, Mark. I'm going to move myself out of here. I will be in the wing. So if you need me, let me know. You can use the private chat to let me know. Thank you.
Thanks again, Sylvie, and the wider Allo community for having me today. So today I will just share my experience with you guys, the art of balancing flexibility and structure in project management. So my name is Mark. I'm the author and the founder of the Ambidextrous Project Manager, and my mission is to pretty much empower projects by helping project leaders and project teams to navigate complex, unexpected challenges, because I believe we're in a complex environment, and projects are really challenging. And so ultimately, even for small and medium sized business and enterprises, project management will be a very important resource for them to scale and pivot. So we also help small and medium-sized enterprise to transform from adversity to impact, because the idea is to make an impact, sustainable impact at the end of the day. So why I choose the art of balancing flexibility and structure in project management, this pretty much comes from a personal experience, overcoming an arm amputation, where I saw balancing flexibility and structure was very important in my recovery. And also using some of these strategies in the corporate and the business space doing project management. So before we start, there is a great balancing act that we need to look at. So first, the challenge. So the challenge that most of us have as leaders or project management professionals, or anyone in life, how do we balance structure and flexibility at the same time? That's difficult because just imagine yourself in a project and you have to be following a process or a structure or some kind of governance, but at the same time, you need flexibility to do the work. So the challenge is, how do we balance structure and flexibility for ultimate success in complex projects? Secondly, is the dilemma. Too much structure stifles innovation, too much flexibility risk chaos. We all know that the key the key thing behind innovation is really creativity, you know. But at the same time, we need some kind of structure, some kind of framework, to help us, on the journey. Now, too much flexibility sometimes it it risks chaos, because flexibility without direction, we could also have a challenge here. So that's given the challenge and given the dilemma, I mean, it will lead us to this a solution, a balanced solution, I would say. And so I believe that the magic really happens when we balance both. You know, um, we balance the structure and we balance the flexibility. And so by doing that, we will help ourselves to become ambidextrous in our thinking and ambidextrous in our approach. So to look at the project management paradox, as I said before, I mean, I believe from my personal experience, I mean, seeing project management from both sides of life. One, when I was in the hospital trying to recover from, I was told, I mean, they couldn't save my arm and that the arm should have been amputated, you know, and I mean, I was battling for months inside the hospital to pretty much overcome this recommendation, pretty much. And I saw how, I mean, the doctors inside the hospital, they had a way how they operate, their governance inside the hospital, the consistency, how they do their checkups, in terms of how they monitor each patient, pretty much their repeatable success patterns. But this wasn't enough, I mean, to save me, I mean, their patient at the time, to overcome this brutal situation. So, of course, they had to be agile. They had to foster some kind of agility and creativity and the ability to pivot when needed. So they had to go outside of what they are used to, the day-to-day process, even at times, just both of us, I mean, myself and the doctors, having conversations, and in that moment coming up with spontaneous and instantaneous approach and solutions in order to to assist the process. And then, I mean, even after leaving this environment and just working in projects across 30 plus different islands, different culture, way of life is different, different laws of the land, different mindset. I realized that, I mean, again, that structure is not enough just to have a plan or just to have a way of doing things, and just leave it like that. You have to be flexible. You have to adapt, to a particular culture. You have to be able to adjust at some common ground. You had to get to know and the persons that you're working with. You have to build relationships, and you have to also understand different expectations, in the process. And so I've also realized that this is the perfect balance, especially in a world, in a volatile and a complex world. And so, I mean, even in the projects that we're doing, and so the balance, this balance is the balance that I think generally, differentiate the good from the great project leaders. And it's a balance that is good enough to blend both a powerful strategy for resilience as well. So just to give you an example, we all know about the ancient Egyptians, how well they how they have mastered structured over the years, of building things, from the ground up. But I would assume that, they also had a challenge too, and that's flexibility, you know. And so even now, we are in a world where, you know, it's it's challenging. Each day something is changing. Something is changing by the minute, by the hour, you know. And so if we look at even the startups, I mean, even for startups to thrive, they have to be agile, you know, or else very often they will struggle, you know. So they have to be flexible, not just to have a business plan in place, or, you know, I mean, some documents, some financial documents in place, or just a plan in place or a framework in place. They have to think outside of that. Yes, it is very important to have artifacts in place, but it's also very important to have flexibility, you know, flexibility in terms of, you know, adapting to your personnel, adapting to your resources, you know, adapting to a culture, you know, or even adapting and building a culture if required. So now that we've discussed the balancing act, and we've established that, you know, for us to thrive, you know, individuals, leaders, teams, and organizations, whether it might be a large or a micro, small, or medium sized enterprise. I mean, it's very, very important to understand the balancing act. And the balancing act is to have an ambidextrous thinking. And the ambidextrous thinking is really a mind shift. It's a mind shift from just focusing solely on structure, but to balance both structure and flexibility, you know, because in difficult times, in complex project management situations, we will need both in order to become successful and impactful. And so the first thing that we look at is to build a flexible framework. So, how do we do this? It's very important for us to have that open mindset where we apply hybrid models. So, not only to have a pre established way to say, okay, you're going into an environment and we're only going to use a Scrum methodology, or, you know, a Lean Six Sigma methodology or something like this. But to go into an environment where once you adapt and you understand your different stakeholders, you understand the culture, you're able to collectively and collaboratively with a team put together a hybrid model that will work aptly with the structure that is in place, and will provide the flexibility that you want, you know. And so again, a perfect example of this is, you know, I've seen across 30 different islands where it's this kind of mindset that pretty much gets the projects completed, where a lot of times we already have a plan, we already know different project management methodologies. But when we go there, most of the times it's about getting to understand the culture, getting to understand the people, you know, getting to understand the persons who influence what we're trying to do the most, you know, building relationships. And then from there, we're able to adapt the artifacts that we have in place, or the plan, or our governance. We adapt our governance to that. And that's how we were able to be successful in most of the projects. Secondly, embrace controlled experimentation. So a lot of times to have creativity or any kind of innovation, you know, it's very important to take small and calculated risk, you know, as we would generally say, you know, a method of failing fast, you know. So yes, we're having challenges, we're making mistakes, but we're learning from them quickly, you know, and we share those learning experience with each other to make each other become better, you know. And we do this in an like an incremental development style, you know, that helps us to achieve the small wins, which brings confidence from key stakeholders and our sponsors. And again, an example of this is, you know, just my personal situation in the hospital, where um, this brought a lot of confidence to the doctors, because whenever we tried something and it worked, that small win gave them confidence, you know, um, to do even something better. And day by day, we become better as a team. And I was able to recover from that situation. And, just even on the other side of the fence, even, doing projects in all these different places, this is how we were able to achieve um, our goals. Because after building out an hybrid model where we get to know each other, we build those relationships, it was easy to take the small and calculated risk, or to come up with a way of failing fast. you know we all learn from it in such a way that it doesn't necessarily affect our bottom line, but it makes the street team become more resilient, more collaborative, and it puts more confidence in our key stakeholders. And lastly, equip the teams with stability and agility. So it's very important to create processes that provide clarity, um, while adapting to the skill sets or the expectations from each team member at all levels. You know, so as I said again, it is not about just creating the process, but just creating a process that aligns with the different stakeholders, and how is it they will influence decision making and the milestones of the project. Now, as I said before, from my personal experience, I believe ambidextrous thinking is the way to go. I mean, no one size fits all. You know, it's we're in I mean, every second, every hour, I mean, something is changing in the world, and we, even as people, we change. So there has to be an ambidextrous way of how we approach each project situation or task or any decision making. You know, um, so I believe we don't have to choose between whether or not we're gonna use structure or flexibility. I believe both are very important. It's like our five senses, they all depend on each other. And as I said before, ambidextrous thinkers are generally the best business leaders, because they are more adaptive, you know, and they are more also resilient, and with these two superpowers, it helps them in any and every situation to achieve their bottom line objectives. And so, for organizational success, I believe it is very important um, to embrace change while maintaining strategic clarity. And one of the best way to do this is to have an ambidextrous mindset, the ambidextrous thinking, and embracing the power of structure and flexibility while going about this. And as I said again, I mean, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for us. It was a challenge for me. and it's a challenge for most persons that I've worked with. You know, um, how can you embrace structure but at the same time flexibility, or will you be stuck in one extreme? But I definitely think the balance is the most important thing, to strike a balance between your artifacts, whatever that is, or a plan, a pre-established plan, you know, or some background study, it's very important to adapt that to your environment, uh, that will give you that flexibility, dealing with the people, because project management is really about the people at the end of the day. We have to be managing persons' expectations, persons' emotions, you know, person's skill sets, someone's motivation. I mean, what inspired someone. So with all of that, it's very important to be flexible as a leader, you know, and balance that with whatever plan that you have in place, artifacts that you have in place, governance that you have in place. So, I mean, just finally, the idea behind, just having balancing structure with flexibility is to pretty much lead with resilience and innovation. So structure pretty much provides a foundation. I mean, you cannot build a house without a foundation, but at the same time, while building the house, you have to be flexible in how you execute the other parts, of the infrastructure, you know, and you're only able to do that if you have some kind of structure in place, and you have that flexibility, and in the end what that will give you is resilience. It will breed resilience, I mean, within your team, you know your solutions, and it will bring innovation, that bottom line sustainable impact um, on a community, on your people, I mean, on the ability of your company to make an impact in a market. So ultimately, what this does is pretty much shape the future of pretty much how, as business analysts and project management professionals, we can make an impact, not just being in one industry or in one sector, but pretty much using the art of balancing structure and flexibility, just bringing it across sectors, making that impact. And, you know, everything that we do is a project again, and your greatest project is you, and you can only lead, adapt, and transform together if we're able to put the structure in place, but at the same time have that flexibility with our people, have that flexibility even using the technologies that are available to us. Right now, as project managers, we're using like ChatGPT and so many other tools out there to leverage our impact and our efforts within project. So that's it for me today, guys. Um, it's a pleasure for me to share this discovery from my personal experience. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about what we do and stay connected, you can check out the ambidextrouspm.com. That's our website. Or you can follow or DM me on LinkedIn. My name is Mark Burnett. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, Mark. It was amazing. Even just watching the your slide was so inviting, so and refreshing actually. And seems like the word, the ambidextrous project manager and your slide really are matching actually, because it gives some lives. You are, I don't know. Anyway, let me go to see if we have some question here. If don't we don't have any questions so far, but I have some for you. Like I said before, just give me 1 minute and I will tell you exactly what is the question. So I know that you speak a lot and you also share some, probably a lot of example today, but can you provide a specific example or case study illustrating how an ambidextrous approach enable a project manager to effectively balance innovation, means exploration and efficiency?
Yes, definitely. So, very recently, we were called to support a renewable energy construction project. Um, we've never worked in that space before, but apparently they were having some challenges in terms of execution. Building a culture, a resilient, collaborative, and effective culture, and also delivering on the client's premise. So, how did we do this? Again, we didn't just, of course, we had the experts to build the project plans. Of course, we had the experts who know all the different project management methodologies. But what happened is that we were going into a new culture, a culture that was new to us. And it was a multinational culture. Persons speak different languages. So the first thing for us was to get to understand the persons that we were working with. You know, their influences. You know, their expectations. You know, And one of the things that we also did also, because we were in a new country, we also studied the different holidays because we realized that this country had the most holidays in the world. And when we started to do that, we learned so much that when we eventually built the plan was so flawless because we got the buy-in from all the different persons. So, for example, even some of the milestones, um, the team was telling us, some of the dates that would have worked best for us because they already know, all the different holidays, that could have affected us, you know. They already, even some of the members, even though we had the holidays, but a lot of them, they were buying into the fact that if we need them to work on holidays, they would have done that because we showed them the bigger picture, we showed them the vision, we showed them what it is that we wanted to achieve, and they bought in selflessly. And so we were able to build an effective plan that worked. Not only that, but what happened was that we started to learn different like greeting words from the different individuals who speak different languages. We had something like, we create something like every Friday we had like a cultural exchange, different team members maybe preparing something from their culture. And we built a collaborative and a self-organized team, I would say, that was very, very resilient. And so, one, we had a plan where we had not a lot of pushback because we built that culture from day one. And two, we had a team that was comfortable with each other, comfortable um, sharing our strengths and also sharing our weaknesses. And we learn from each other and we build from each other, you know.
Oh, okay.
And
Thank you.
ultimately, when we delivered on the customer goals, we celebrated.
Thank
This
you.
was very important to us. We celebrated.
Thank you, thank you. Last question. I will let my question, and this is from Elaine. Mark, how were you able to bring trust on medical professionals to your project? Share one tip on building trust.
Yeah. Sometimes building trust is ask for help when you know you need help. A lot of times we need help, but we don't ask for help. And sometimes it's just to say to that person, I need help. And that's
Yeah.
it.
I think that this is the best one for me today because we are most of us are proud. We are really proud and we don't want to
Mhm.
ask question. We think like okay, asking question is like getting low, on the bottom. But no,
Mhm.
I think that people who ask question most of the time are the one who really lead, share, embrace, support. They are really open. So I'm asking all of you on this world to always ask questions. Reach out to Mark on LinkedIn, through his website, anywhere that you can find him, or even hail him when he's walking the street or on the street, and ask him any type of question. He's really a nice person, professional one also, and always ready to help. So thank you, everyone. That will be all for Mark today. And see you for the next one, which is pitching the PMO with Dr. Tony Prinsa. Thank you. And by the way, don't forget to fill the form, please, because we really want to make sure that next year we do better. Okay. Thank you so much. You have a last word before we leave?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for attending our sessions today. It was a pleasure to share with you.
Thank you. Bye bye.